We live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Nepakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will initiate the historic debate on 150 years of Vande Mataram in the lower house of Parliament. 10 hours allocated for the special discussion on the national song. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation grants IndiGo an extension till 6 p.m. on Monday to respond to its notice, warns of proceedings expert if airline fails to respond. Thailand launches airstrikes at Cambodia as border tensions reignite after two sides trade charges of breaching peace. Cambodia increases deployment of troops and weapons. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu hints at entering second phase of Gaza plan shortly, says Hamas must disarm. Will meet President Trump later this month to discuss peace. President Zelensky says Ukraine's peace talks with US Constructive but not easy. Expected to meet French, British and German leaders on Monday in London. Further talks planned in Brussels. And on to the details now. India's Parliament is gearing up for a momentous discussion, one that goes to the heart of the nation's cultural and political memory. Well, today the lower house, the Lok Sabha, will hold a special 10-hour debate marking the 150th anniversary of the national song Vande Mataram. And leading this historic conversation will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, who is set to initiate the discussion. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will speak next, while on Tuesday the focus shifts to the Rajya Sabha, where Home Minister Amit Shah will open the debate, followed by Health Minister JP Nadda. With both houses set to examine the song's legacy, symbolism and political interpretations, Parliament is preparing for a rare and charged moment of reflection on one of India's most powerful national icons. Well, today, the lower house, the Lok Sabha, will hold a special 10-hour debate marking the 150th anniversary of the national song Vande Mataram. And leading this historic conversation will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, who will initiate the discussion in the Lok Sabha. Well, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will speak next. And on Tuesday, the focus will shift to the upper house, that's the Rajya Sabha, where Home Minister Amit Shah will open the debate, followed by Health Minister JP Nadda. And for more on this, we have Dibyendu Mondal joining us. Well, Dibyendu, good morning. Prime Minister Modi to initiate the discussion today, a very important discussion. How is the government positioning this discussion on 150 years of Vande Mataram, and what core points they intend to bring to the forefront?
Well, Nepakshi, very good morning. First, the key important discussion on the completion of 150 years of the national song of Vande Mataram will be taken up for discussion in the Lok Sabha this morning. In fact, this afternoon and the debate is expected to be initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the lower house of the Indian Parliament, which is the Lok Sabha.
Well, Dibyendu, we were asking you that how is the government positioning this discussion as on 150 years of Vande Mataram, and what points, in fact, they intend to bring to the forefront?
In fact, a year-long celebration of the 150 years of the song of Vande Mataram.
Yes.
It said, the government is expected still, part of the song Vande Mataram, and how the song had been the cry for freedom struggle during the colonial era in the history of India's, and how this song has played an important role in the history of India's independence. So therefore, this song was of course written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. There are important issues that could also be brought by the government, which includes letters written by Rabindranath Tagore to Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, and also to Jawaharlal Nehru during the period of India's freedom struggle, when the government also accuses the Congress party of deliberately eliminating certain stanzas of the important song, which highlights or brings the rich cultural history of India. So therefore, this many important topics, unknown facts
Right.
from the song Vande Mataram could be taken up, in fact, could be brought to public domain in the parliament by the government this afternoon. Of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will speak, and then we'll have Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speak on this. And the BJP has been allotted 3 hours. There will be a total of 10 hours of discussion on this particular important issue. The opposition, the NDA, the political parties from the alliance, NDA would also participate in this debate, and after which, after which 10 long hours
All right.
of discussion, there could be a resolution that could be passed and will be taken up in the Rajya Sabha.
All right, Dharmendra, thank you so much for a special debate on Vande Mataram at 1:50 in the Parliament in the lower house today. And moving on, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation on Sunday said it granted IndiGo CEO an extension to submit its response to the show cause notice issued to the airline on Saturday over massive disruptions in flight operations. Now, IndiGo passengers continue to be affected amid flight disruptions and cancellations on day 7. IndiGo's 650 flights were cancelled on Sunday, taking the total flights cancelled since Tuesday to more than 2,000. Now, the airline has said that it expects operations to stabilize by the 10th of December. The domestic carrier, which continues to face widespread disruptions even on day 7, has time till 6 p.m. on Monday, that's today, to respond to DGCA's notice. DGCA cautioned that failure to submit a complete and comprehensive reply within the extended timeline will result in the regulator proceeding ex parte, that is legal action based on the available records. Meanwhile, air travel operations across the country are stabilizing at a fast pace following intervention by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Government said that all corrective measures will remain in place until operations stabilize entirely.
Air travel operations across the country are stabilizing at a fast pace following rapid and decisive steps taken by the Ministry of Civil Aviation in wake of IndiGo operational crisis. While all other domestic airlines are operating smoothly and at full capacity, IndiGo's performance has shown steady improvement on Sunday, with flight schedules moving back towards normal levels. In light of recent cancellations leading to a shift in demand and temporary surge in airfares, the ministry intervened and introduced a cap on airfares with immediate effect. This measure ensures fairness and affordability for travelers. Since the implementation of this order, fare levels across affected routes have moderated to acceptable limits. The ministry has also instructed IndiGo to trace and deliver all baggage separated from passengers due to disruptions. Continuous communication is mandated throughout the process. The ministry's 24/7 control room continues to function as an integrated coordination hub, overseeing flight operations, airport conditions, and passenger support requirements. Passenger calls are being promptly attended to, with necessary assistance as required. The ministry has reassured traveling public that passenger safety, convenience, and dignity remain their highest priority. The aviation network is moving swiftly towards full normalcy, and all corrective measures will remain in place until operations stabilize entirely. To reduce passenger inconvenience at airports, multiple stakeholder engagements were held and real-time airport situations have been monitored continuously. Regular meetings were convened with all operators, airport directors, ground handling agencies, and all other stakeholders. Bureau Report, DD India.
And amid the ongoing IndiGo situation, Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi has issued an advisory stating that IndiGo flights may continue to face delays and urged passengers to check the latest flight status with the airlines. It added that airport teams are working closely to manage the situation, minimize disruptions and ensure a smooth travel experience for all. And meanwhile, Indian Railways is running special trains from Monday to help passengers amid flight cancellations and winter travel demand. A total of 89 special train services, making over 100 trips, will operate over the next 3 days across multiple zones. Central Railway will run 14 special trains. Railways will also operate additional services from major cities. These trains aim to manage the extra passenger rush, ensure connectivity, and facilitate smoother winter travel across the country. Well, IndiGo, the airline that once redefined punctuality and scale in India, cancelled hundreds of flights nationwide, undone by its biggest operational crisis yet. Here's an explainer on the crisis. Now, India's largest airline, IndiGo, has faced a week-long disruption, cancelling hundreds of flights, including more than 650 on Sunday alone out of around 2,300 daily services. With the airline controlling over 65% of India's domestic market, these cancellations have set off a nationwide domino effect, affecting travellers across the country. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, introduced a revised flight duty time limitations and phases with full enforcement from November 1st, 2025. The new rules aim to combat pilot fatigue and bring Indian aviation in line with global safety standards. Now, the DGCA had first notified these revised limits back in January 2024. Also, the implementation of the new rules was carried out in a phased roll-out starting on 1st of July 2025 and completing by the 1st of November. IndiGo reportedly underestimated the number of additional pilots required under the revised limits, leading to mass flight cancellations, which were first reported on the 2nd of December. Also, IndiGo acknowledged the widespread flight disruptions for the first time on the 3rd of December, attributing them to a range of factors. The airline officially apologized to the passengers on December 4th and said on Sunday that it expects to stabilize operations by December 10th. Now, on the 5th of December, the DGCA granted IndiGo a temporary one-time exemption from certain night duty and night landing restrictions valid up to February 10, 2026. The regulator has also opened a formal inquiry into the disruptions. Meanwhile, the crisis led to a surge in domestic airfares across several major cities. On December 6th, the government stepped in to cap domestic airfares, with the Ministry of Civil Aviation instructing all airlines to strictly adhere to the prescribed limits. On the same day, the DGCA issued a show cause notices to IndiGo seeking explanations within 24 hours for the massive flight disruptions. And still to come, DD India News Hour. We'll give you an update on the Benin coup attempt. President says attempt thwarted. Sri Lankan weathermen forecast more showers this week. An Australian firefighter killed in bushfire accident, with over 50 fires burning across New South Wales.
Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khuran, and moving on, tensions reignite between Thailand and Cambodia. Thailand has launched air strikes along its disputed border with Cambodia after both the countries accused the other of breaching a ceasefire agreement brokered by US President Donald Trump. Now, as per Thailand, the military's statement, at least one Thai soldier has been killed and 4 wounded in the fresh clashes that broke out around 2 areas in the easternmost province of Ubon Ratchathani. While Cambodia's defense ministry said in a statement that the Thai military had launched dawn attacks on its forces at 2 locations followed days of provocative actions, and added that Cambodian troops had not retaliated. Simmering tension has occasionally exploded into skirmishes, such as a week-long artillery exchange in 2011, despite attempts to peacefully resolve the overlapping claims. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the second phase of a US plan to end the conflict in Gaza was now close, though he cautioned several key issues still needed to be resolved, including whether a multinational security force would be deployed. Now, ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is entering its second month. Israel retained control of 53% of Gaza under the first phase of Trump's plan, which involved the release of hostages held in Gaza and of Palestinians detained by Israel. The final hostage remains to be handed over are those of an Israeli police officer killed on October 7, 2023, fighting Gazan terrorists who had invaded Israel. Since the ceasefire started in October, Hamas has re-established itself in the rest of Gaza. Now, according to the plan, Israel is to pull back further in the second phase as a transitional authority is established in Gaza and a multinational security force is deployed. Hamas is disarmed and reconstruction begins. A multinational coordination center has been established in Israel, but there are no deadlines in the plan, and officials involved say that efforts to advance it have stalled. Also, Netanyahu was speaking to reporters alongside German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Jerusalem shortly after visiting the Holocaust Memorial Yad Vashem. Netanyahu said that he would hold important discussions with the US President at the end of the month on how to ensure the plan's second phase was achieved.
I think simultaneous with the advance to the second stage, I think it's important to make sure that Hamas complies not only with the ceasefire, but also with their commitment, which they undertook, to disarm and have Gaza demilitarized. That's not something that is not part of something that they committed to. They committed to it. And so I think we'll be having very important conversations at the end of the month on how to ensure that this second stage is achieved. We're about to finish the first stage. We're there, almost. But we have to make sure that we achieve the same results in the second stage, and that's something I look forward to discussing with President Trump.
Well, meanwhile, Chancellor Merz reaffirmed Germany's commitment to diplomacy, stressing the need for long-term thinking.
Above all, we will continue our diplomatic efforts to bring about peace. One thing is certain. Hamas cannot play any role in Gaza. Hamas must no longer pose a threat to Israel. We must not take short-sighted action or think in the short term. After the trauma of war suffered by both Israelis and Palestinians, we must lay the foundations for a new order in the region, a new order in which Israelis, Palestinians, and Arab neighbors can live in lasting peace, freedom, security, and dignity.
And separately, in New York, the United States, Israel and Qatar held a trilateral meeting as per reports. It came months after Israeli jets conducted an airstrike in Doha, unsuccessfully targeting Hamas leadership. Now, it was the highest level meeting between the countries since the deal to end the conflict in Gaza, for which Qatar served as a key mediator. Reports suggest that White House envoy Steve Witkoff hosted the meeting with Mossad spy chief David Barnea representing Israel and an unnamed senior Qatari official in attendance. On Saturday, Qatar and Egypt both called for the withdrawal of Israeli troops and the deployment of an international stabilization force to fully implement the fragile agreement to end the conflict in Gaza. And talks between US and Ukrainian negotiators over a proposed peace deal with Russia ended in Miami this weekend, with few new developments and lingering questions over security guarantees and territorial issues. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has provided a fresh update on peace talks with the US, saying they have been constructive but not easy.
We spoke with Stephen Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I thank them for their readiness to work together 24/7. The American representatives know the basic Ukrainian positions. The conversation was constructive, although not easy.
Well, the comments from Zelensky comes ahead of key talks between the Ukrainian leader, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, France's Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in London on Monday.
We continue to work. Something can only be discussed in personal. UMRO and NATO will report to me, and I will also speak with European leaders. We have meetings planned in London as well as in Brussels.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin has praised Trump's new national security strategy, saying that it corresponds in many ways to our vision. The new strategy warned that Europe faces civilizational erasure and that Washington wanted to re-establish strategic stability with Russia. Also on Sunday, Trump's outgoing Ukraine envoy, Keith Kellogg, said that a deal to end the Ukraine war was really close and now depends on resolving just two main outstanding issues: the future of the Donbas region and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump expressed disappointment with his Ukrainian counterpart Zelensky as he didn't read the proposal to end the conflict with Russia, while Putin has accepted it.
Been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky is fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it.
Meanwhile, Kremlin has welcomed US President's new national security strategy and said it largely accorded with Russia's own perceptions, a rare time where Moscow has strongly praised such a document from its former Cold War foe. Now, the US national security strategy described Trump's vision as one of flexible realism and argued that the US should revive the 19th century Monroe Doctrine, which declared the Western Hemisphere to be Washington's zone of influence. Also, the strategy signed by Trump warned that Europe faces civilizational erasure, that it was a core US interest to negotiate an end to the conflict in Ukraine, and that Washington wanted to re-establish strategic stability with Russia. And British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper will meet her American counterpart Marco Rubio in Washington today to discuss Ukraine. This is Cooper's first visit to the US capital since becoming Britain's top diplomat in September. The transatlantic allies talks are set to also focus on the situation in Gaza and ongoing conflict in Sudan and the urgent need to press the warring parties to agree to a humanitarian truce, the prevention of atrocities and humanitarian access. And moving on, the West African nation's government and armed forces thwarted a coup attempt by a group of soldiers on Sunday and vowed to punish them. Benin President Patrice Talon said his government and military had thwarted a coup after soldiers declared his removal on state TV amid gunfire in Cotonou. He added that loyal forces had regained control, defeated the mutineers and promised punishment while showing concerns for victims and those captured by the fleeing rebels. A government official reported that 14 people had been arrested in connection with the coup by Sunday afternoon.
En coordination avec le commandement des forces de défense et
In coordination with the command of the Defense and Security Forces, I have taken the necessary actions to maintain peace, to ensure the security and tranquility of all throughout the national territory. I would like to commend the sense of duty of our army and its leaders, who have remained Republican and loyal to the homeland. With them, we stood firm, regained positions until we cleared the last pockets of resistance from the mutineers.
While at the request of Talon's government, Nigeria sent Air Force fighter jets to take over Benin's airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters from the state television network and a military camp. The unrest was the latest threat to democratic rule in the region, where militaries have in recent years seized power in Benin's neighbors, Niger and Burkina Faso, as well as in Mali, Guinea, and only last month in Guinea-Bissau. And the northeast monsoon situation is gradually spreading across Sri Lanka. According to the weathermen, there is a possibility that the rain situation will increase from Monday night in the northern, north central and eastern provinces. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places in the other areas of the island after 1300 hours local time. Western, northwestern and northern districts of Sri Lanka are already reeling under widespread inundation due to Cyclone Ditwa, island's worst natural disaster in decades. Thus, the weathermen have advised public to take necessary precautions to minimize the potential damage caused by strong winds and lightning strikes that may temporarily occur in those areas during thunderstorms. More than 2 million people, nearly 10% of the population, have already been affected so far. And an Australian firefighter was killed overnight after being struck by a tree while battling a bushfire north of Sydney, officials said on Monday. Emergency crews responded to bushland near Bulladelaha, about 200 kilometers north of Sydney, where the 59-year-old firefighter suffered a cardiac arrest and died at the scene. More than 50 bushfires were burning across New South Wales, including a fast-moving fire that destroyed 16 homes over the weekend in the Central Coast region. Authorities have warned of a high-risk bushfire season this summer, with extreme heat expected across large parts of the country. And still to come, DD India News. 3 senior officials suspended as probe evidence in the Goa nightclub fire incident. Owners still missing after the mishap. Kashi Tamil Sangam celebrates timeless cultural bridge between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. And Shimla's historic open-air ice rink springs back to life as winter skating season draws in crowds.
US launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD.
Welcome back. You're watching DT India News. I'm Lipakshi Khuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will initiate the historic debate on 150 years of Vande Mataram in Lower House of Parliament, 10 hours allocated for the special discussion on the national song. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation grants IndiGo an extension till 6 p.m. Monday to respond to its notice, warns of proceeding expert if airlines fail to respond. Thailand launches airstrikes at Cambodia as border tensions reignite after two sides trade charges of breaching peace. Cambodia increases deployment of troops and weapons. Israel's PM Netanyahu hints at entering second phase of Gaza plan shortly, says Hamas must disarm, will meet President Trump later this month to discuss peace. President Zelensky says Ukraine's peace talks with US Constructive were not easy, expected to meet French, British and German leaders on Monday in London, further talks planned in Brussels. And moving on, in connection with the Goa nightclub fire incident, 3 senior Goa government officials, including the then director of Panchayat, were suspended for their role in permitting the operations of Birch by Romeo Lane nightclub. Now, they are held responsible for granting permission to the nightclub to begin operations in 2023. Police have also questioned Roshan Redkar, the Sarpanch of Arpora Nagawa Panchayat, who had issued the trade license for the club. The owners, managers and event managers have been charged with culpable homicide and causing death due to negligence, among other charges. So far, 4 people have been arrested, but the club's owners are yet to be nabbed. The incident occurred on the intervening night of December 6th and 7th, where 25 people, including 4 tourists, were killed after a fire broke out at Birch by the Romeo Lane in Arpora, Goa. Initial findings point to a cylinder blast as the trigger, with 3 people dying of burn injuries and the remaining due to suffocation as thick smoke filled the enclosed space. And moving on, in another tragic incident, this time from Maharashtra's Nashik, where 6 people died after their vehicle plunged into an 1,000-foot ravine on the stretch leading to a famous shrine. The car was headed towards the Saptashringi Mata temple when the driver reportedly lost control while attempting to overtake near the Bhavri waterfall, a stretch known for its sharp curves and narrow road. The Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis called the incident extremely tragic and said families of the victims will be provided financial assistance of 5 lakh rupees each from the state government. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reacted to the incident and expressed grief over the loss of lives. On X, he wrote, and I quote, "Deeply saddened by the loss of lives due to a mishap in Nashik, Maharashtra. My thoughts are with those who have lost their loved ones. I pray that the injured recover soon," unquote. And Kashi Tamil Sangam drawing the spirit, bringing alive a bond that has quietly shaped India's cultural landscape for generations. The writer and media professional groups visited the Interculture Studies Centre at Banaras Hindu University, engaging with the rich academic and cultural perspectives the institution nurtures. The interaction offered them fresh insights into cross-cultural understanding and the diverse traditions that shape India's intellectual landscape.
This was a very grateful day today. We started with a holy dip in Ma Ganga at the Hanuman Ghat. Later we came to Banaras Hindu University, one of the oldest existing university, I would probably tell, and I got the blessings from this university because people from South won't get the opportunity to come here as it is way long. I feel very grateful for this opportunity and thanks to BHU for this golden opportunity.
Well, Kashi Tamil Sangamam is a celebration of a relationship that has lived in the Indian imagination for centuries. For countless pilgrims, scholars and seekers, the journey between Tamil Nadu and Kashi was never just a physical passage. It was a movement of ideas, philosophies, languages and living traditions. And moving on, well, winter has arrived in its full fury in Kashmir and much ahead of time. While the intense cold usually starts by December 21st, this year the region is already freezing as mercury has dropped below 0 degrees in many places.
Wrapped in a ferran, carrying a kangri and huddled around temporary bonfires along the roadside near the iconic Dal Lake. These have become a common sight in Srinagar city these days. Local residents have adopted the traditional ways of keeping themselves warm as temperatures continue to plummet in the Kashmir Valley. With minimum temperatures dropping below the freezing point, daily life has been severely disrupted. The situation is even more challenging for those who depend on daily wages for their livelihood.
बहुत ज़्यादा हद से ज़्यादा परेशानी है क्योंकि ठंड बहुत है आज। जैसे कि हम सुबह निकलते हैं काम पे तो धुंध हो जाती है, यहाँ पे सर्दी बहुत है तो काम नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो सुबह ज़्यादा होती है और शाम को दिन भर थोड़ा सा होता है तो चलते ठीक है। ये 2 दिन ज़्यादा ही सर्दी होती है।
According to the daily wagers, they are not getting enough work to sustain their livelihoods due to the severe cold conditions in the region. Many locals complain that the severely cold weather has arrived in the region much earlier than usual, even though Chillai Kala, the 40-day period of harsh winter in the Kashmir Valley, begins every year on December 21st. The Meteorological Department has forecast mainly dry weather on Sunday, with a brief spell of light snowfall at isolated places in the higher reaches of North and Central Kashmir on Monday.
And for more from Kashmir, we have Shabir Dar joining us. Well, Shabir, temperatures have dipped below freezing much earlier than expected this year, as we heard. What are the officials or the meteorologists saying about the reasons behind this early onset of harsh winter in Kashmir this year?
Yeah, it has been a dry and harsh winter this season around, and as you rightly said that the intense chill has arrived a bit early this year, because usually the harsh winter starts from December 11 when the 40-day Chalai Kalar period starts, and that Chalai Kalar period is associated with the harsh winter when there is there's a foggy morning and evenings, and the entire Kashmir is actually get standstill with this harsh wintry conditions. But this year, as we know that the Kashmir is already in the grip of intense cold waves, and we are seeing the night temperature going plummeting deep into minus degrees. So freezing temperature is there in the night, and in Srinagar yesterday it was recorded minus 2.3 degrees centigrade, and when we go around outside the Srinagar, in the peripheries, in the districts, it is much worse. And definitely the weather vagaries have its impact on the common people, particularly the daily wagers who as the report said that they are finding it difficult to find the work and go about their work in the early mornings and late evenings. So the Meteorological Department has predicted a dry weather for next week with isolated light snowfall at isolated places. So mostly the weather will remain dry and and in chilly in the coming week. And the hope is that from December 15 there will be a bumper snow and rains. People are praying to the God that it should rain, if not snow, because already this dry and chilly weather condition have resulted in respiratory problems and diseases. Also, the AQI level is also very poor these days in Srinagar, which is unprecedented because, and weathermen said it is because of this dry weather that air quality index level has also gone to very poor level. So definitely the weather this year has become very harsh early, and which is definitely which is impacting not only the daily life but the health experts are also coming up with precautionary measures with advisories, asking people to take care, particularly the elderly and children, because respiratory diseases is a challenge during these weather conditions.
All right, thank you so much, Shabir, for all those details from Srinagar. And moving on, Tuesday marks the 90th birth anniversary of Hindi cinema's He-Man, Dharmendra. In a career spanning 65 years, he delivered some of Indian cinema's most iconic performances, becoming a symbol of charm, strength and effortless versatility. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us more in this report.
One of Hindi cinema's most enduring screen icons, Dharmendra's work spanned genres, generations and a vast emotional range. Known for his effortless charm, quiet strength and unmistakable presence, Dharmendra remains among the most influential figures in the Indian cinema. Born Dharam Singh Deol in 1935 in Sahnewal, Punjab, he arrived in Bombay after winning a Filmfare talent contest and made his debut in 1960 with the movie Dil Bhi Tera Hum Bhi Tere. Over the next decades, Dharmendra became one of the most recognizable faces of the Indian cinema, delivering memorable performances in many movies including Anupama, Phool Aur Patthar, Satyakam, Sita Aur Geeta, Mera Gaon Mera Desh, and the iconic Sholay. His versatility, from intense drama to effortless comedy and action, cemented his place as a star admired across generations. He later stepped out into public life as a member of parliament from Bikaner in Rajasthan between 2004 and 2009, even as he continued to appear in films such as Apne, Yamla Pagla Divana, and Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. Dharmendra passed away on November 24th this year in Mumbai at the age of 89, leaving behind a legacy that continues to define Hindi cinema. His warmth, humility, and deep connection with audiences remain inseparable from his on-screen legacy. With a final performance set to arrive in the movie Ikkis this Christmas, his 6-decade journey stands as a testament to timeless stardom and enduring influence. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday praised Doordarshan's program, the Suprabhatam. On social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the program's role in bringing a refreshing start to the day. He appreciated how the show inspires viewers with segments on yoga, lifestyle and timeless wisdom. In particular, he acknowledged the Sanskrit Subhashita, a segment for instilling a deeper awareness of India's rich heritage and values, calling the program a beautiful blend of knowledge, positivity and cultural inspiration. And still to come, DD India News Hour. Dollar steadies ahead of Fed meeting as markets brace for expected rate cut. Lando Norris clinched his first Formula One championship, ending Max Verstappen's 4-year reign with third-place finish in Abu Dhabi. And Christmas lights illuminate Taipei. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on at the red carpet of the Kennedy Center honors, US President Donald Trump suggested that Netflix's bid to acquire Warner Brothers might pose antitrust issues, noting the company already holds a large share of the streaming market and saying he would be involved in the federal regulator's decision on the nearly $83 billion deal, adding that the market share could be a problem.
Ted has done an incredible job. I mean, he had a company that was very troubled 7 or 8 years ago, and he took it over, and he's really done a legendary job.
Should they be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, you know, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And also, and I'll be involved in that decision too.
Did they make...
They have a very big market share.
Well, the US dollar steadied on Monday after 2 weeks of selling ahead of a week crammed with central bank meetings and headlined by the US Federal Reserve, where an interest rate cut is all but priced in but a divided committee makes for a wild card. Besides Wednesday's Fed decision, central bank policy meetings are also due in Australia, Brazil, Canada and Switzerland, though no moves are expected outside of the Fed. The euro, which has been trading in a reasonably tight range since June, hovered at $1.16. The yen, which has found a footing after sliding through November, traded at $155.28 a dollar. Well, you're watching DD India News. Time now for some sports news. India went down 1-5 to defending champions Germany in the semi-final of the FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup 2025 in Chennai. Germany took control early, with Lukas Korsel scoring twice and teammates Titus Wex, Jonas Vaughan and Ben Hasbach adding goals inside 50 minutes. India's only reply came in the 51st minute when Anmol Ekar converted a penalty corner. Despite enjoying more possession in the second quarter and creating openings through Ajit Yadav and Arshdeep Singh, India could not break Germany's strong defence. Goalkeeper Princedeep Singh made several saves but was unable to stop the relentless attack. India will now meet Argentina in the third place playoff on December 10th. And also, India enjoyed a strong day at the ICC World Cup final in Doha. Simranpreet Kaur Brar clinched gold in the women's 25-meter pistol final, equaling the junior world record with 41 hits. Esha Singh also made the final but finished 7th, while Manu Bhaker narrowly missed qualification. Earlier, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar secured silver in men's 50-meter rifle 3 positions with a score of 413.3, adding to his successful year that already includes Asian Championship and World Championship medals. Well, Anish Bhanwal capped the day with silver in men's 25-meter rapid-fire pistol, finishing just 2 hits behind Olympic champion Lee Yo-hong. And Lando Norris clinched his maiden Formula One Drivers' Championship after finishing third in Abu Dhabi, ending Max Verstappen's 4-year reign. Norris became Britain's 11th world champion, scoring 423 points to Verstappen's 421 and Oscar Piastri's 410. Verstappen won the race with Piastri second, while McLaren celebrated a double triumph after already securing the constructor's crown. Norris was emotional after the finish, calling it an honor to battle Verstappen and Piastri all season. The victory denied Verstappen a 5th straight title, a feat only Michael Schumacher has achieved. And FC Goa retained the AIFF Super Cup after a dramatic 6-5 penalty shootout win over East Bengal in Kochi. The final ended goalless after 120 minutes, with both the sides missing chances. East Bengal's PV Vishnu missed in sudden death, allowing substitute Sahil Tabora to score the decisive kick. Despite East Bengal's strong defensive plan and missed opportunities, Goa held its nerve to secure the trophy and qualify again for next season's AFC Champions League 2. And as Christmas festival is around the corner, hundreds of people crowded the circus-themed Christmas land in New Taipei City to celebrate the winter season. The new Taipei city Christmas celebration kicked off on November 14th and will light up the city for 45 consecutive days. Take a look. Well, Tokyo is also ready to welcome Christmas with dazzling illuminations and decorations. Japan does not have religious ties to Christmas, but the Japanese capital puts up lights on trees and sets up art installations for its residents and visitors to enjoy the annual festival mood. In Shanghai also, the German Christmas market near the Bande is a popular holiday attraction, often selling out and drawing large crowds. This year, one of the busiest stalls sold a cotton candy shaped like Christmas trees and snowmen with lines over an hour long. Meanwhile, Shanghai Disneyland launched its annual Frostival, featuring a musical Christmas tree lighting and winter-themed decorations. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.